Good Friday morning, everyone. It's time for Enough is Enough. This is our weekend in Coma filming. Kenny Ballentine has arrived, and we have our first event that we're filming this morning. So the weekend. So a lot of you have been seeing online that the big event of the weekend is the direct action out in front of Representative Kilmer's office on Pacific Avenue. That's our sit-in. And so everybody's bringing folding chair or a chair, berets if they have them, uh, Bernie's mittens if they want for fun, signage, and themselves basically for a Medicare for All sit-in. Um, and so Kenny Valentine will be filming that event. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific today. So if you could please watch Red Berets Twitter feed, or watch all of the social media platforms. But me myself, as far as Red Berets, we're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. I guess we're on Instagram, but I don't really count that because unless I find somebody that really wants to pick up the Instagram account and do it justice, we're just not really there. Um, Okay, so, but if you watch and keep up with Whole Washington, you can find them. If you just go to wholewashington.org, you'll get linked up to all of their social media platforms wherever you are, because I know I talk a lot of Twitter on here, and it's like YouTube is not Twitter. There are many of you who may not be on Twitter who are watching this. So, uh, you know, that's why I wanted to come to another platform, is because I realize that there's a lot of outreach that we need to be doing as Red Berets Medicare for All. Anyway, back to the weekend event. So we had our first guests arrive. Actually, Lisa Serafini arrived from Pennsylvania Wednesday evening, and we've been strategizing and planning and getting last minute details together. And then last night, she and I were attending a Whole Washington Core volunteer meeting. And then right then is Carlene Myers, who lives locally. She's a nurse, and I met her through, I knew her on Twitter, and then she came and attended my uh, Tacoma Run Bernie Run event. So this is, we've just been making connections all along. And so she came by to give some help last night. And then right after she arrived, Scott Denoyer arrived, from the airport. He flew in from, so he stopped by to say hello. So anyway, and now this morning we're going to be doing a little like local school crafting circle, just a very, and again, not all these things, maybe not everything for sure, not everything will make the documentary, because he's casting a wide net, and hoping to get a lot of stuff on film, and then little moments, little poignant moments will be captured, and big moments will be captured, and human stories will be captured, and we'll see what comes out in the end. But at the end of the day, we're going to dedicate ourselves to giving him all the opportunities he needs this week. And so we start with that, with some children crafting red berets, and then we'll have some time to kind of get organized, finish up any last minute things like signage, and then a little bit before 4, I'll be down there at probably 3 o'clock, but we'll go down for our direct action at 4 o'clock on Pacific Avenue, and that will be the big event. And then tomorrow there is another Fibers Etc. is my local yarn store that's just about a mile down the street, and we've got some of our core local crafters who are able to make it. Kenny thought it would be neat to see some of the crafters in their own kind of element, with the imagery of the yarn, and Fibers Etc. is a really fantastic store, and they're happy to have us. Basically, I've been in there purchasing yarn for quite a few years now, so they know me really well, and they know about this cause, and they're supportive. So it will be really fun to have that little time. And then he's going to just kind of casually interview or ask questions of the crafters as we're sitting there doing our crafting about why do we knit these red berets? Why do we crochet these red berets? Who knows what questions he wants to know, but probably why is it something that we're putting our we can craft lots and lots of things. We could be doing baby blankets. Those are I've never knit a baby blanket, but I knit a really big kind of throw, a really thick, wonderful throw for my parents. It was the first thing in several years, really, to speak of that was outside of red berets. I gave myself a real break uh, in the fall, or was it late summer? Anyway, um, knitting that great big Afghan. The point is, people knit socks, people crochet, all kinds of things, and so why red berets? Obviously, because we believe we need healthcare justice, Medicare for all. But I think there will be some, neat questions that he'll want to ask. So that will be cool. That's tomorrow morning. And then down at Marconi Chiropractic and Wellness, which is where I work, my boss, Dr. Marconi, has been really, really awesome to say, sure, I would love it for you to be able to use the space. Saves on cost, and also there's different rooms, so he can kind of change up the scenery a little bit. So what we've prepared is an itinerary of people. He asked if I could get about 20 people together. So I've tried to, kind of as I do with the red berets, what my tying together of different threads, and there's a lot of them really, but just off to kind of name a few of the main ones that I've tried to link and bind together with the red yarn, with the berets, is nurses. It starts with nurses because nurses were the inspiration for the berets, National Nurses United. And the nurses are some of the fiercest advocates for national improved Medicare for all. And whole Washington is exactly the same. It's a microcosm. So our we have Catherine Lewandowski and Cindy Black, who are our co-chairs, and Mariana Everson, who is also on the board. And here you have Carlene Myers. So, whole Washington is very much a nurse centered. We have lots of nurses who are passionate volunteers and board members of whole Washington because they care deeply about this cause. They want to save their patients' lives. That's the bottom line of it. So, nurses, and then, of course, the 99%, all of us, everybody's story. Everybody's got one. Some of them, like Scott DeNoyer, uh, and his family, and the loss of their son is an absolute tragedy. And some of us don't have anything that's that big. Some of us are veterans who served overseas and learned that other countries have this, and that we have a shameful and grotesque system that just allows tens of thousands of people to be written off. That's all they are. They're written off. They're write-offs for just in order to protect the profit motive. Um, so some of us have stories like that, and some of us are rationing our insulin, and some of us are choosing between rent and being able to afford health care. You name it. There's all these stories. So nurses and the 99%, and um, candidates for Medicare for all at every level. So here to bring it back to the interview process in the 20 that he asked me to try to gather up and find, and that's not difficult because I know a lot of dedicated people here in Washington State who, in some way or another, they've helped whole Washington. They believe in whole Washington. I would I would be very hard pressed to find a strong Medicare for all organizer who is not affiliated or working along with for whole Washington. So there will be a lot of whole Washington in these first interviews because the entire state that knows about it is supportive. Apart, I suppose I should say, from a particular few who seem to have enough money and time to be able to sponsor and be proponents of bills that are commission bills to study and delay this for 4 to 6 more years. And I don't particularly consider them payer proponents. I know that that's maybe a strong or divisive thing to say, but not really. Not when you're looking at 30 to 60,000, 68,000, something, along the lines of human deaths per year. I don't consider people that aren't fighting for it and doing everything they can right now to be particular single payer allies. I guess maybe other people can speak differently about that, but when people are dying, you do everything you can, especially when it is a very, very, very good piece of legislation like SB 5204. I digress. Anyway, so that's the 99% and candidates. So I've tried. We have Jason Call, who is coming down from Everett as far as a candidate. And we have a couple local candidates, so former candidates who ran for city council. Because see, we have to do this at every level. You can get Medicare for All resolutions passed through City Council. So we have David Combs, who's here in Tacoma, who ran for City Council, and also Courtney Love. So there's a couple of the candidates, and of course Mariana Everson. So you see, I've kind of covered the. I do strongly. I've brought the Red Berets in to, boost and retweet, and I've given out berets to candidates and supported their campaigns. Tried to link them in with the Red Berets. And we all do these events together. It's just sort of very intermeshed. So I'm hoping I'm not losing you all on this. Nurses, 99%, and these are in not really any particular order other than I would say yes, the nurses and the 99% are kind of the biggest piece of the crafting of the Red Berets. And of course, candidates who are running and who are hopefully through their actions, not just through tweets. And Jason Call is certainly one of those, board member of Whole Washington. So the candidates and, I want to say like organizational or movement allies. So, the People's Party are coming down to be part of our event. They're going to be part of it. They're all they're with the Red Berets if they want to wear a red beret, right? And they support Medicare for All. And Rhonda Walker is kind of in that category of as the chair of our Revolution Washington Bernie Crack Coalition, and she's doing and done a ton of other things. So that's the thing is, I guess what I would call that is the intersectionality piece. The intersectionality piece, because she's doing just like Mariana Everson, she's worked a lot of organizing with Poor People's Campaign. So, of course, we need all of our things to be very intersectional. So that's kind of the intersectional piece of Red Berets for Medicare for All. And crafters. And I'm putting the crafters last. And we're the ones that are crafting these. So, but the crafters are bringing the inspiration and the joy and the connectivity and the solidarity and this can be fun, this can be relaxing, this can be hope. And we do have to get in and do the work and go out and primary corporate Democrats and Republicans. And we have to go to town halls and we have to go to sit-ins. And we have to do all of these actions if we're really going to move on this, if we're really going to put pressure and get more co-sponsors for Medicare for All, and if we're going to launch a ballot initiative to get universal health care in Washington state. But where was I with that? But joy. But and not everybody is going to go out gathering signatures or going to go to a sit-in or, well, it's going to be a knit-in. Some of us are going to bring our crafting so we can demonstrate how to do knit-ins. But the point is that people who are otherly abled or who just can't do the stress of going out into public places, or they have whatever. The crafting is an element where it's an example that all skills and talents there's a place for everyone, in this movement. So it might not be knitting and it might not be crocheting or doing this, but it's an example of how can we think outside of the box and everybody put their talents and their passion and their skill sets into moving this forward. And And so I think I've pretty much covered everything. I'm sure there's more, but the collection of 20 odd people who are being interviewed this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, um, are a combination of how I see, of these different people, of the different aspects of what Red Berets as a grassroots organization have tried to um, embody and connect and do through our creativity and convey through social media. Because obviously, I'm one person, and Lisa Serafini coming out from Pennsylvania is one person, and Carlene and Fran and Kat, Kentucky Mountain Woman, and Sarah Hansen and Michelle Devier and Skeptic Sue, and like we've as far as the crafters and the people that can kind of build, we do need crafters. That's the thing. We can't really build the Red Berets with 5 to 10. We have many more than 5 who have contributed, by the way. Um, Christina Bankston can't make it down from North Seattle because she's having car problems. There's really been a good handful of us, but not enough to build it completely throughout Washington. We still have many, many, many people who don't know about the Red Berets, who don't know that they could order a red beret from wholewashington.org, and that we're getting ready to launch a ballot initiative because we've been blocked by the legislature from receiving a hearing, and that people can actually help wherever they're at. You could be in the United Kingdom and listen to my story about how I lived over there and kind of got the seeds of my activism planted, and that we are trying to pass national improved Medicare for all. And you could say, oh, like, I want a red beret. And you could go to wholewashington.org to the merch page and you can order one. And if we can build this movement, and I encourage crafters to come along and be inspired and start thinking creatively. How could you get your own handwork to start building creatively in your own community, and perhaps even fundraising? You can do all of that stuff for your candidates, for your if you have a single payer organization in your state. Uh, and in the meantime, and I will really, really deeply appreciate it if everyone who sees this video spreads the word that you can help Whole Washington. Whenever they say we don't have $5 million, we shouldn't be doing a ballot initiative. Um, Please buy a red beret or make a donation. And I think, I figured out that if 50 people from all 50 states, just as a little basic math, easy example, were to purchase a red beret from wholewashington.org, Whole Washington would make $87,000. And that is no small thing. That would help enormously with this. Maybe we could do more than that. Let's dream. We can dream really big if we're willing to do the work. It's not just dreaming. If you're willing to put in the stitches, if you're willing to spread the word, people are putting in the stitches, people are knitting in the round, people are. I should get off and finish this because I'm supposed to finish another. But Courtney Love has had several, but she's had a problem with her red beret, like it's a little bit saggy on her forehead, and she needs another one. But I don't know if I'm going to get it finished. So, Courtney, if you see this, you may be choosing one of Fran Sylvia's daughters' beautiful berets, and you'll have to, and getting one from the amazing Fran who is so dedicated. She's sending these to Whole Washington very regularly, monthly or more. Okay, so this is the wrap up. Under 20 minutes, not too bad. I do have things to do this morning, so that probably helps. Anyway, do what you can. Share the video, share the posts, and watch for the live streams and the updates, and um, realize that we're going to kind of need a whole, oh, last thing, deep, deep thank you to Justin Jackson and Jimmy Dore. I caught that 4-minute segment the other day. Somebody tagged me in it, so thank you. I really appreciate it when people alert me to this stuff, because I'm kind of at this point very busy and I don't get to catch everything. Um, and so they did a segment where they were, basically saying, please support Whole Washington. If you're in Washington State, go ahead and volunteer and donate. Um, and I just only add to that, please volunteer and donate no matter where you are, because that's the thing we need to convey is everyone can do something for whole Washington and help us open the floodgates. If we really are, and I think a lot of us have argued, we're not the United States of America, but if we are, and that's what we're called, if that's what we wish to really be, then let's recognize that we're not doing this just so that Washingtonians can have health care. We're doing it because we legitimately are doing everything we can at all the levels, including federal, which is what our event is about today. Um, and we're going to need some help. We're going to need to ask the country to come and help us, either physically or through donations or through social media, attending volunteer meetings on Monday night. You can literally be from anywhere and help with this initiative. And what would this be like when we're being told we don't, like by a consultant, that the pathway is virtually unseeable for 400,000, 350,000 qualified signatures? I submit that this is a historic moment in time where the nation has begun to realize that just exactly how much work it would be required and what is the mountain ahead towards achieving national improved Medicare for all. And that by supporting whole Washington and helping us open the floodgates is a very, very solid path. And I assure you that we are with you 100,000% when it comes to the federal legislation and helping to fight for this concurrently at the federal level. We understand. We get it. We've been organizing for this for 4 years now, and that's why we link arm in arm and we do both strategies at the same time, because it's untenable to just say, "Oh, I guess Biden said he'd veto it. I guess we can't have it. Um, I guess we have a corrupt Congress." I mean, that's the reason we're doing a ballot initiative, is because we could just say, "Oh, well, currently under our with our state Senate healthcare committee and the makeup of our overwhelmingly Democrats have control in Washington State of the House and the Senate. So they're the ones that blocked the hearing. They're the ones that didn't put it to a vote. It's a microcosm, just as Georgia said, of the federal thing, and the federal thing, whatever." We realize that we we are blocked. We are blocked right now. We can continue to fight that. We can sit and complain. We can call our reps. We're sick and tired of that. We'll keep doing that, but it doesn't do any good. As you all know, they ignore us. Really, honestly, the only way to do this is to uh, identify, which was the value, and force the vote, is to, it's not just identify, because yes, we know who they are, but as I've covered in other videos, other people, the overwhelming majority of the electorate, and I would say Democratic Party, Democratic voters out there, do not know who all of the people that are holding up this progress is. So it's incumbent upon us to do these actions, to pull them to put them in the spotlight and say, you are the reason. Hey, everybody, him. He's the reason that we cannot get hearings for National Improved Medicare for All. Representative Kilmer will not co-sponsor Medicare for All in the middle of a pandemic. But in the meantime, we have that same situation at the state level, as I was saying, and that is the reason why we have to press forward with the ballot initiative. People can sit and say, "Oh, those numbers are way too steep of a climb. You can't do that." So what? So we can't do it? Is that what the decree is? Because I'm here to tell you that if people hear about this and we get the support like what we did from Justin Jackson and Jimmy Dore and Ron Placone and Ryan Knight and the Vanguard and Jen Perlman and anyone else who wants to come along and see what we're doing and say, "Okay, just do what you can, people. We know you're supporting all these causes all over the place, but treat this like a, no, I don't even want to say that comparison. I was going to say it. I'm not. I'm miffed. I'm miffed at the progressive caucus right now. No, I mean, I was going to say treat whole Washington like the AOC, like this, like if we get one in, right? And to some degree, that's true. But the vital difference about it is that whole Washington, if it's passed, is actually going to pass single payer in Washington state. It's not going to stay friends with Nancy Pelosi. It's not going to kind of care more about committee assignments than going hard at the establishment. It's going to just do what it's written to do, and it's all there at wholewashington.org. So please check it out and do what you can and help us fight this, like, fight on all fronts strategy. It's time to stop with this bullshit of one or the other. That's over. That's dead. That died the second that we had a veto president. It's time to do both. It's time to have solidarity. Uh, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful for all of the progressive independent media that is giving us this opportunity, and for Kenny Ballentine, who's coming to film. And it's not only all about whole Washington. You'll see that he's got the documentary stretching across the United States. He's already got people signed up that we're just not. He's going to be revealing all of that as it goes along. This is a 99% documentary, and whole Washington has the great privilege of being a part of that film. Okay, now I'm really going. Take care, everyone. Have a really good day. Um, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.